Welcome.
Yeah, day late and $1 short. It's not Tuesday.
We're a mess.
Oh, funny.
But that's because we are real people with real lives.
Yeah, shit
And
happens.
we're not being paid to do this by any political party or anything like that. So
No, this is purely for fun. This is a hobby. This is what a hobby looks like.
yeah. Yeah. I know, right?
Oh,
Anyway, we're not sure if the other ladies are going to be joining us tonight. Something might have happened. I know one is sick. That's why we missed yesterday. And anyway, so that's neither here nor there. So our topic tonight is relationship red flags. And then we're going to talk about the water crisis.
well, and actually watching that water video that I watched, it was kind of funny. I was like, I wonder how we can tie this in. Oh, wait a minute. Listen to all these buzzwords and propaganda. Those are red flags. Weird.
Yes. We have to be aware. And I mean, because we don't have our beautiful Rocky here,
Yeah.
I guess we don't show the her video.
I thought I deleted them all.
No.
She probably put more in there.
There's yeah.
Maybe we should play it just because she's not here.
Okay, well let's do this one for our audience because our audience has to watch it again and again. Oh no.
Oh, baby, when you talk like that, you make a woman go mad. Oh, baby, when you talk like that. Oh, baby, when you talk like
that. That's how I imagine our audience is watching that every single time.
I do. Gosh, it makes me blush. Oh my God, what the hell is going on there?
Yeah. We'll have to do some cleanup here in the video archives.
Yeah, I tried to delete a bunch last week. I added some for this week, but
okay, cool. So you know what ones you added, so I'll let you drive for when it comes to that.
Okay, so I have seen this thing come across the internet lately, and it's just random people on my news feed, mostly on Facebook, asking questions about things. Some of them are red flags, like big red flags. Some I wouldn't have even considered red flags until I took a hard look at some of my relationships and was like, oh, okay. One of them is the can guys and girls be friends? And I think I never thought about it. Somebody pointed it out to me. They're like, you're only keeping them around as a placeholder or something. Like that's I didn't look at it like that. It was a best friend of the opposite sex. And it was like, you could have your best friend, you could have your cake and eat it too, and you didn't have to have commitment. There was no commitment there, but you were always emotionally there for each other during chaotic times. You know what I mean? And then that doesn't really work. As you get older, your personalities change and those things become less important, falling back on those people. So when you're getting into a relationship with somebody and your best friend happens to be the opposite sex, and that person doesn't want to communicate with your partner or be friends with or hang out with your partner, that's a big fuck.
Oh
no! Am I frozen?
Okay. You're back. You froze at the F word.
Oh,
it was perfect.
Just that's a big fucking issue. It's a huge issue. Or like if that's all they have, if all a female has is male friends and all a man has are female friends, well, they're just setting themselves up with a bunch of yes people who are going to validate who they are when they have shitty behavior and whatever. Those are the people that you run to. Well, when you're a female, I didn't really believe this for a long time, but when you're a female, you need good female friends that you can run things by that are,
we do.
Yeah, who have been through the same thing. You're not going to go to a friend who's not married or doesn't have a boyfriend or doesn't, you know, you're not going to go to a friend that doesn't have those things and then ask them, you know, advice about something. What kind of advice is that really? You know?
Well, I went through the same thing too. Like because I am who I am, I never really got along with other women. And because I can't stand complaining. Like I can listen to venting, that's fine.
Yeah.
When you have a group of female friends and all they do is fucking complain, to have a group of guy friends and bring them problems and they're like, here's the fix. I felt like I fit in a lot better.
Yeah.
And then anytime I had like a significant other, like you said, some of my guy friends were actually really good guy friends, and they were like older brothers or what have you, and they wanted to protect me, and they vetted the guy and turned out to be a good guy, and then we all became friends, and that's when you know that it's not a problem.
Yeah.
Fast forward into life, I had a bunch of like good guy friends, and I got together with my current person, and he's like, okay, cool, no problem, he's totally chill. But then my guy friends were no longer my friends.
Right.
So it's like, oh, cool. So they were all like waiting in the wings, I guess. So there's truth to be told about the whole is dick under glass, right? Or
for sure,
it's waiting dick.
Women and men, and women have to be willing to be truthful with themselves about that shit. That's a hard thing to look at sometimes, especially when you're like, you're getting that whole, they just want to fuck you, they're not your friend. And you're, no, they don't. What are you talking about? And then you realize after the fact, oh,
they do.
Fuck, that is just what it is. God damn it. I really can't have any friends.
Yeah, I think it's like anything else in life. There's shades of gray, right? So there's the one group of men that can actually be your friend, and that's usually the men that don't find you attractive.
Yeah.
Right? Like they're into blondes and you're brunette, or you're kind of chunky and they like skinny girls, or you're flat chested and they like girls with big boobs. So they just don't find you attractive.
Yeah.
You totally can be great friends.
Yeah.
If there's no, it was like that video that you have loaded up.
Oh yeah. Okay. Hang on.
Yeah. So I think that's a good time to play that one.
A guy can have a girl that is just a friend. No, listen. I'll wait. You as a girl can be just a friend to a guy, but it means you're ugly. I'm sorry, I know you don't want to hear it, but you just a homie with a ponytail. I don't know what else to tell you, man. Men and women can be just friends, but one of y'all fucking busted, okay? Or maybe both. Maybe both of you are ugly, in which case y'all should be fucking anyways. That's why it's called bumping uglies.
That's what I'm talking about.
We got to talk about the females who think they're just his friend. Like I've been psychotic in the past and been like, okay, well, who the fuck do you think you are? No, he's not your friend. You shouldn't be talking to him about that. That's not appropriate. And why don't you bring it to me? You know, I thought you were my friend. you know, things like that. And I'm like, that doesn't work that way. And some of these women are so committed to the fact, like, of their loyalty to these men. They're like, no, I'm going to be his friend anyway. And I'm going to listen to what he has to say. And I'm going to validate him. And it's going to be awesome. No, it's not, bitch.
Yeah.
No, it's not. You're not his friend.
from the like the female perspective, right? Like the man is, I'm not a man, obviously, but like they're waiting around for her to fall into his arms and onto his dick, right? But then
Yeah.
the
Cry on
women,
her shoulder.
yeah, it's like, oh honey, oh sorry. But oh look, there she is in the
Oh,
chat.
she needs a link. She needs a link.
Oh,
She
do you want to do
can't
that?
get in. Yeah.
What I was saying is like, but there's those women that are the I can take your man girls, right? That try to be the oh, she doesn't do that for you. Oh my God, I would totally do that for you. You're such
Yeah.
a great guy. Oh my God, she doesn't like your baseball cap that's all greasy and covered in sweat stains. Oh my God, I love that. I think you totally rock it. I think it's kind of sexy. You know, those stupid bitches. Right? And as a woman, because we have this hyper developed intuition, if we learn to use it correctly, that we can sense it from like a million miles away, that there's
Oh, I
someone
can
coming
smell
in.
it.
Oh yeah,
When
you
you
can
have
smell
a whole little clan of thirsty hoes, like you can smell them bitches from a mile away. With my friends, like especially my guy friends, as I've gotten older, and this is probably only within the recent years that I've started doing this. But if they're married, if they have a girlfriend, I message their girlfriend first, or I message their wife first.
Yeah.
And I talk to that, okay, we're going to a birthday party. We're doing this. We're doing, you know what I mean? Like, it's out of respect for the relationship. And like, if you're really friends, they're going to understand. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. And then you also put like extreme boundaries on what your friendship entails, right? So if you have a guy friend and he is complaining about like his girlfriend's sex life, like him and his girlfriend's sex life, that's inappropriate, because that's something that's a bond that holds the relationship together, and you have no place. You know, and sometimes if he just wants to bitch a little bit and you just be a sounding board for him, that's fine. But if you start edging in on, oh well, you know, I can be your friend, and God, never do that.
Look at me, I'm cute.
I would make you sexy sandwiches all the time.
Right,
like trying to lure him away. And guys do that too, right? They want to.
Well, yeah, it goes both ways for sure.
It goes both ways. We're very, I think we're more similar in ways than we are different when it comes to the battle of the sexes. And I think that's the thing that breaks my heart the most about what's happening right now in the world. Because we, not only on like political lines and racial lines and all the other fucking lines that are out there, the battle of the sexes has been the one that's been the most successful, but yet worked on the hardest for the longest period of time. Right? Well, other than the plebs versus the elites, but that's so underhanded and it's so deep down that no one cares about that anymore. We're too busy fighting amongst ourselves. They're so good at doing that. But the battle of the sexes is what I believe is destroying Western society, because the family and the family unit, the husband, the wife, the children, that's what holds us normal plebs together.
Blame feminism. I blame feminism.
I blame feminism for a lot of what's going on in our society and the misery, especially women are going through, and the beliefs that even I held up until, you know, many years ago, but the beliefs that I held that led me down the wrong paths, that made me miserable. And then of course I'm stubborn, so of course you try to do the same thing but do it harder, because that's going to make you happier. And I know so many women that are like that are like my age, like in our 50s, that are still doubling down on the fact that they're strong, independent women that don't need a man. And it's bitch, you're old now, and the market is not there for you anymore. Like, yeah, you may take good care of yourself and you may be attractive, but yeah, like men.
That's a good segue for the next video.
Men they're like, I'm sure you could find somebody, but you're not the catch that you used to be anyway. And then you don't have any children. So
Right.
you have no joy in your life. Like I have children and grandchildren. They're the most incredible joy in my life that I've ever known. Like when my dad told me when I had children that his grandchildren were the most beautiful thing that's ever happened to him, and if he knew how wonderful they were, he would have done it that way the first time. I understand what he's talking about now. And these women are denying themselves that lineage.
Right.
So it's depressing. Like it's absolutely devastating that we've believed in this, we've doubled down on it, and society is falling apart because of it. Because number one, we don't have in our society anymore the concept of the crone,
Right.
the concept of the wise woman, the concept of the grandmother, and how important that is in the family unit.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That wise old lady that can call shit like it is.
Exactly. Grandma
Right?
knows what it is.
Yeah, like that grandma look.
Uh-huh.
Still developing mine. I don't quite have mine down yet, but like that grandma look, that respect that the family had for the matriarch of the family.
Yeah, no, that's not really so much a thing anymore.
Yeah, well, and it's been beaten out of us because you can't be an old lady. You still have to be young, hot, fresh, and you can't admit that
40 is the new 50.
Oh yeah, 50 is the new 30. Like I should be out there trying to be younger and
Twerking.
Fucking, could you imagine me twerking? Okay, number one, I'm English. I have no ass.
I can't twerk either.
And I have a bad back from like years of injuries in sports. Yeah, no, not gonna happen.
Play this video and we'll bring Aaron in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Strong women intimidate weak men. That's known. Because if he was an alpha and he was in his masculine energy, pure masculine energy, not wounded energy, he would want a smart, hardworking woman on his side because she will inspire him, she'll guide him, she'll give him advice, she'll give him constructive criticism. She will be there, she'll be his rock, and together they can build. I don't want a man to sit down and watch me build and clap for me. No, I want a man to build with. So when a man is intimidated by a strong woman, he's weak. It's because there's nothing to be intimidated about. Men and women don't compete with each other, they complete each other. So I do need a man that is in his alpha masculine, because if he's not, then I will tap into my masculine energy to basically bring that masculine energy into the relationship, because he doesn't have it. So it's so important for a man to be healed in his alpha energy, in his healed energy, for him to be able to allow the woman safely to drop into her feminine and for her to be a little girl. And it's very important because a lot of men complain, oh, females are very masculine nowadays. Men made us become like that. Life made us become like that. But if I'm with a healthy man, I'd be a baby. I'd be a girl. I don't want to be the boss lady at home. I don't want that. I want to be a girl. I want to be taken care of.
That's an interesting video.
A masculine man, like even if you're you actually are a strong, independent woman that can take care of shit, and you can. Sorry, I have to say it that way. You can take care of shit. You can pay your own bills. You can change your own tire. Like I'm a very independent woman. I'm very strong and stubborn. But having a man that's confident in his masculinity and very male, it allows me the ability to soften myself and be feminine and enjoy feminine things, and then provide for him that peace, that soft landing place, the things that the female provides for the man. If you don't have a strong man, if you're a strong woman, if you don't have a strong man, you take on those masculine roles and then you're miserable. I know, I've done it.
Yeah, well, I have to do it anyway. But just because I don't have a man at all.
Yeah, and I've been there where you have to be like, you're moving through this world as a single person. You have to provide for yourself. You have to take care of things. You have to fix your car. You have to, like
Yeah.
there are things that you have to do that you don't have someone that you can rely on. And that's when, as a woman, you become masculine because you have to.
Well, yeah, you have to. The only thing you have is to rely on yourself because you don't have. It's like, oh, there was that one. I didn't download it. It was a video like this, and it was like she asked her husband to do something with the cabinet. He said, I'm not a carpenter. Asked him to fix the plumbing. He said, I'm not a plumber. Asked him to fix the car. He said, I'm not a mechanic. So she got somebody else to do it. And like, it's like, well, yeah, don't say you're going to do something, or, in a relationship, I'm going to fix this, and then fail to fix it, and then get upset when they ask you about why you didn't help, or you say you're gonna do this with me, and then we blow off the plans because why? Because you didn't feel like going, or it wasn't as important to you, or you don't have, like, they're not planning dates and stuff like that. I could tell you right now, if somebody's not planning dates and small things like that to make you feel like you're wanted or significant, chances are they don't see planning a future with you. So they'll say, we're going to do all of these things, but there's never any steps to go along that show that these things are going to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's an interesting comment.
Yeah, I saw this in the chat, and thank you. This is an excellent comment, and I feel the exact same way, that when you're in a relationship and you start confiding in your opposite sex friends and your partner doesn't know about it, there's such a thing as emotional cheating, and it is just as devastating to your partner.
Absolutely.
Right? It ends up creating a weird dynamic.
Well, it's just like with any relationship. If you can talk about it to other people, but you can't talk about it to me, you don't have a problem with me. You have a problem with you.
Yeah.
And your ability.
Flag.
Yeah. Some people do have topics that are best left not discussed with their spouse, but are not like a hot button topic, like politics, let's say. Let's say now you don't really, or you're interested in something and you're deep diving into something that your spouse doesn't want to hear about.
Shoot, my lasagna.
Do you then catch it before it burns?
Go do women's stuff.
Is that okay? Are you allowed to talk to a different person with that similar interest if it doesn't verge into personal, if it doesn't verge into, like supporting that other person emotionally or whatever? Do you think that's wrong?
No, see, here from my perspective, from my relationship, right? So there are things that I am super interested in, and my husband loves to hear me talk about it, but the reason why he does is because he loves watching me be excited about something, but he could give two shits that what I'm talking about. But I do have friends that I talk to about like gardening or companion planting or the freaking chickens, he will listen to me talk about it, but I mean, it's not his thing.
He's not interested in it, but like something that would actually make him feel like triggered or upset that I'd love to talk about this. This is not going to work. I
just don't talk about it.
Yeah.
And he has friends at work as well that like he's really into blacksmithing and metallurgy and stuff like that. And you're just like, I think it's cool, and I love watching him like celebrate when he's finished a really hard piece, or he's turned flat bar into a round thing, or he's got the perfect heat treat or whatever, right? The perfect bluing.
Getting it right and getting it good and loving it.
Right. And then he'll come and show me. I'm like, oh my God. And just the joy that he has that he's completed that. But he's got friends at work that understand the concepts and understand why that's so exciting.
And they're like, oh my God, you accomplished this and this and this. And then they can discuss how they did it. And you have no idea. You can't help them move along in that hobby at all.
I listen. I understand that. Like,
you ever watched Forged in Fire?
Yes.
I love that show.
It's like, where they make those knives.
I love it. Yes. Knives and swords and all kinds of stuff. I fucking jam on that show. I actually bought Brian a forge.
All right. Well, have a good night, Margoot. We're gonna miss you.
Homework for
Bye.
tomorrow's stream calls. Oh. Isn't it early for homework? No, I'm just kidding.
So I did
I had to
have
go check my extra. Oh, sorry. I had to go check my sheep that I'd moved at the other barn. Now I have 2 places to go, and I brought kids with me, and they didn't want to leave.
Oh,
I was like, oh, we'll stay longer next time.
How are the babies? Are they growing out nice?
Oh, yeah, they're big. They're like
Yeah.
probably close to 100 pounds, most of them, maybe some
Holy
of them.
shit.
Like Marigold's probably, you know, that one that was in the house?
Yeah.
She's got to be, I can't lift her anymore. So that means she's probably 145, 150 pounds.
Wow.
damn.
Good job, sheep mama.
I was training her to get into the truck. And I was like, you can do this. I think we hit a point where it was like, she's not big enough and she's getting really heavy. So I'm hoping that when she gains some more height, oh, my camera's doing weird lighting on me, that she can just jump into the truck alone herself again. We'll see.
All right. What's another red flag video that you here?
Okay.
What would you say are the 3 big flags that a man or a woman should look out for when they're entering a new dating relationship?
Competition or cooperation. When you have a partner that values your well-being and wants to see you feel less anxious, wants to see you feel happy, wants you to feel connected, they are cooperative. So when you say things like, oh babe, I haven't heard from you all day, they're like, oh, I'm so sorry, I completely forgot. I'll call you in 5 minutes. Give me 10 minutes, I'll call you. But other times you'll have a partner where you say, oh, I haven't heard from you. Stop trying to control me. You're always taking over. You're so needy. It's stuff like that. Is it competition or is it cooperation? When you voice a concern, do they actually want to see that the relationship get better and your well-being matters? Or are they so stuck on their autonomy and independence and not being controlled by you that they reject and neglect their responsibilities towards you? It's those partners that are in competition with each other who can hurt who the most, or who can stay the most disconnected, who can stay the most independent. Why are you together? I don't understand those relationships. It's torture. It's real torture. So it's like, oh, I'm liking extra pictures. She told me not to like pictures. Now I'm going to do 10 times more. Oh, he told me not to post bikini pictures. Now I'm going to post 10 times more. Why are you together if you're going to hurt each other? Because hurting them should be hurting you.
That's a great example of what people do nowadays.
Yeah.
Well, that's a great example of like a red flag. If you have that conversation with somebody and it's an honest, like, hey, this really hurts me conversation that you have, like, you will have your entire relationship. It's like, hey, that really hurts. And they double down on it and they do it more, because how dare you tell them what to do? And that's for both men and women, I would say, but for women more, because
I feel like because women have been told over and over and over that with women's liberation, oh, don't let them tell you what to do. If you do that, that's bad. And then you've got all this reinforcement from their friends being like, you can wear whatever you want and you can do whatever you want and he can't tell you not to.
Why is he telling you what to do? Is he trying to control you and me? He's gonna put you barefoot crying in the kitchen. So I've had those situations where I've had work friends that were like, oh my God, let's go out for coffee, or let's go out after work for dinner, or whatever, right? Like, all the girls are going out after dinner. We're going to go to the local pub and hang out. And I would say, oh, well, let me just message my husband and see if that's okay.
Yeah.
And they would lose their fucking minds. So it's like, oh my God, you have to ask for permission? Like, what again? I'm going, no, it's a respect thing, because number one, if I just disappear, he's going to worry about me.
Yeah.
Like, what happened to my car? Did I fall in a ditch? Like, what happened? And number two, we have, or they're adults now, but we had children. So we're a partnership. We both take care of the children. So, if I message him and say, hey, I'm just going out with the ladies from work, he knows that he's responsible for dinner tonight. So it's a respect thing. But, like, if I were just like, yeah, you know what, I'm totally independent. I don't have to message him or anything, and I just disappeared.
Yeah.
That hurts him. It hurts my children. It hurts him. It hurts our relationship. It hurts the communication. Right? Yeah. Just me trying to be independent. But like you were saying, Erin, it's other women that henpack each
it
other
is.
behaviors, right? So
Absolutely. And shame people who want to have like open communication and be like, no, it's if I want him to tell me where he's going, then I have to tell him where I'm going. And I think that's reasonable. Like, do they want their boyfriends to head off or their husbands to head off and go drinking and never tell them where there is? Because that was my whole marriage. And like, I hit a point where it's like, I just don't care where he is anymore. I just don't, I'm not calling him. I'm not texting him. I don't care when he comes home. Our marriage was essentially dead at that point.
Well, yeah, that's the huge red flag that's been waving in your face, and it starts slapping you in the side of the head. And then you just kind of go, yeah, you know what? This hurts too much. I don't care anymore.
Yeah. Well, and you start dissociating.
Yeah.
I just didn't care. It's like, I do it all myself as a mom, whatever. It doesn't matter if you come home or not. You're not going to help anyway. I don't care where you are. Yeah. So it's for sure, if that's occurring in your relationship, that's bad.
Yes. What she mentioned too about competition, right?
Yeah.
That's something that I had to learn as a person, because for some reason I have this huge competitive streak within myself. And I don't know where it comes from. I don't know what trauma happened that made me like this, but it's always been wonderful in sports and in goals that I set for myself, because I'm very competitive. I want to succeed. But I did bring that into relationships. And I do believe that in my past, I have harmed relationships because of my competitive nature. And it's really hard to take a look at yourself and take a look at what damage you've done to other people.
Yeah.
Address it, fix it, and then don't do that again. And it hurts, because it's like, yeah, but I won. Right? Like, I came out on top. But what is it?
And you're like, then I lost.
Getting each other back. Well, he fucked around on me. Well, I'm gonna get him here.
Well, maybe not
his brother.
But just stupid shit, right? And there was times where like so here's something about me. Like I would question his masculine. This is not my current relationship, obviously, but I would question his masculinity in front of groups of people that were mutual friends.
Oh,
what a fucking bitch. Right? To hurt him and to take him down a notch in front of the friends and stuff like that, right? So
that's terrible. Why'd you do that?
It was probably because I was insecure in the relationship and
Yeah.
I wanted to come out on top, right? Because I was being competitive.
Okay.
And he was always the life of the party, and that was something that I was very envious of, because I am an introvert by nature. And so I'd have to take him down a peg or two.
Oh my
So
goodness.
I
Okay. Yeah.
right? So that's something that I've had to, this is many years ago, I'm much better now, but to realize that about myself and realize that was my downfall, and that was one of the reasons why the relationship fell apart. It really hurts to know that I was cruel like that. But if you don't look in the mirror, and if you don't see what you're doing and take ownership for your part in things, you're never going to get any better. So that's old lady advice for you. And I'm gonna put my stake in the sand here. I love pineapple on pizza.
I do too.
I do too.
Do you? All right, chat.
I hated it when I was younger, but like now, but it's got to be pepperoni pizza. I really don't like it with Canadian bacon.
It can have pepperonis.
Yeah, pepperoni, the sweet and spicy. Yeah, I don't know. I've had all kinds of pizza, like a veggie pizza with pineapples on it, with a little bit of tart sweet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I like it. I don't understand the debate. Like, I'll take it without too.
Me too. I love it. And you know what else? I put it in chili, and it's pretty good in chili too.
Ooh, yum. I put garlic and bacon in chili though. Too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yum.
Bacon and pineapple and chili would be awesome.
Ooh.
Okay, so everyone.
Okay, so here's my red flags though, is that because I'm a farm person, I totally emasculate men without trying to. But then then I don't know how to deal with it, right? Because then it's like, I'm not going to do all the things that they tell me to do, because it's like, I've been doing this for way longer than you, so I don't really need your advice. But and they don't listen often. you know, like, oh, we should do this job. No, I got to do this job and this job first. And then it's like, it turns into a competition, but it's not supposed to be. I just need to get stuff done. That's I've had that happen in 2 relationships or one solidly. And I just had to break up with him. Like, he just couldn't, it was terrible.
Yeah. I think the nice thing about healing from that is in my relation. Oh, we lost Shawnee. She'll come back. In my relationship now, he knows that I can do the things. I think that's the key. But he wants to do them for me. Just like changing a tire. Like there was a day that I got a flat, and I 100% can change my own tire. It's not a problem. But he wanted to provide for me. And I said, okay, like, come on out. You know, I have to do it myself, right? And he's like, oh no, but I want to do it for you. And that was kind of the thing that clicked in my brain. He knows I can do it. He trusts that I can take care of myself, but he wants to take care of me. And
that's pretty nice that you got that. You know, like, for sure you should take advantage of that.
Yeah.
Sure.
And it's not, and it's something that makes him happy, and that's how he shows his love, right? So why would I deny him that? And then, of course, I can soften myself and get into my feminine and be provided for, and then provide him that appreciation and provide him that what I understand that men need is that the love language of being appreciated, and letting him know that I do appreciate having in my life, and I do appreciate him doing things for me, and I do appreciate his strength and his masculinity. So it's an important lesson to learn as a strong, independent woman.
Yeah.
Right? To not be in competition with your man. Because, I mean, good, strong men, they won't even look sideways at you because they know. They can see your type a mile away. I know. Because they look at me and go, no.
I mostly get, that bitch is crazy.
How's your lasagna?
It's good. I'm letting it set or whatever.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It has to rest for a bit.
Yeah, there you go. Rest.
It's too hot. Anyway.
Okay, I am totally trying pineapple in the next batch of chili that I make.
It's really
I'm not
good.
telling anybody in the family. I'm just going to do it.
Super delicious.
Oh, you guys want to see something fucked up?
Sure.
Of course.
Okay.
It makes me sick to my fucking stomach.
What did that do? What did that monument do?
I don't know.
Was it racist? Like, did it
why does Stop Oil?
Yeah.
They're just interested in damaging things that people that are heritage things to get attention. I think that's all they do, right? It's like, guys, Stonehenge has been there for thousands of years. The paint's just gonna wear off.
Yeah, but still, that's fucked up. That's a sacred place. Those motherfuckers should go to like prison. I don't give a shit what anybody says.
Well,
they did it to. I'm gonna try to remember what painting it was.
Yes, I do.
Oh my god, it was a famous painting at the Louvre.
Yes, I put pepperoni in my lasagna.
Yeah, they did it to sunflowers. They did it to the Mona Lisa.
To the Mona Lisa, yes.
Yes.
That's what I saw.
Carta. They went after, they've gone after for everything. Things that are sacred, right? Things that in human history are great creations that are sacred. And like you look at Stonehenge.
Yeah.
What an incredible marvel.
Mm-hmm.
What a testament to what human beings are capable of doing. Like, it's not just a bunch of rocks in a field. we don't even know what it was really used for as modern humans with all of our brains and computers.
It was probably
The
for aliens.
homing beacon.
It's a
Yeah,
homing
yeah,
beacon for
yeah,
the-
who knows, right?
ET phone home.
for the
You know what?
metaphor.
When I watched that
home.
video, all I could think of was these people are really ineffectual. Just tackle them. Just
Yeah.
tackle them down.
In the video, there's that,
Well, they probably
No,
don't
don't
want
just
to
lady,
grab
that
them.
little old lady that's yelling at them, and she's like, "Stop, stop!"
Yeah,
And she's
yeah, I
like,
guess she's not going to tackle them.
she's a little old lady, but she's out there. She's like dragging the back, like yelling and screaming.
She
Here's my
actually did a
question.
good job. I think that person hardly got any paint on the rocks.
Yeah, good for her. Like a little old lady, little old English lady running after some yahoos with orange paint,
Yeah.
destroying something.
They looked a little dark to me.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
The spraying
Like,
people.
why Stonehenge? I guess just for the attention.
Yeah.
Well, that's it, right? It's a seven wonder of the world, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that people of all, creeds that have sacred ties to it. It's a religious monument. It's an archaeological marvel. It's something that gets a lot of attention, and it just.
And tomorrow is summer, isn't it?
solstice.
Summer
it's-
solstice.
Yeah.
The solstice. So yeah,
For the
yeah,
little
that's why
fucking
Stonehenge.
assholes.
That's why
That's
Stonehenge,
why it's Stonehenge. Yes.
right? It's a marketing opportunity for Just Stop
Yes.
Oil to be dicks and for more people to hate them and
Yeah,
and
totally.
get us
Stop
more angry
Oil.
about it.
I think we had somebody up here with that group when the line 3 was going in or
Oh,
whatever.
really?
Yeah.
Oh
They
yeah.
had like handcuffed themselves to something and they tried to make like was it a car? Maybe it was a car. I don't know. I don't remember. Dumbasses. So I have to say it went in anyway. What did that do? It didn't stop jack shit.
Yeah.
Well, does Just Stop Oil do stuff in North America? Like the only stuff that I ever see is from Europe. Like in
Was
the
it Just
UK.
Stop Oil?
Yeah, Just Stop Oil
Yeah,
is
that's
the
what it was.
company.
Oh, maybe it was some native. Maybe
Yeah,
it was some
in
native
Canada, there's been a lot
environmental
of
thing.
like bands that don't want it to go through their,
yeah.
like in Quebec and stuff. Like, yeah.
Why?
Yeah,
Because they're not
like
going to make any
NBC.
money off of it.
No, okay, 99% of the tribes and all that want the economic
Yeah.
opportunity to participate in the oil and gas industry in Canada, and also to lead as stewards for the environment in conjunction of having oil and gas industry, right? Because there's big industry in that, right? And having that green oil, making sure that it's most environmentally conscientious. And there are a lot of tribes that want to participate in that. And I say, hell yeah, let's do this. But then there's always that one little group of people that are like, no, we don't want to be successful.
Well, I think that one was more about land claims because there's a lot of places in BC that have absolutely no treaty. So they don't have treaty.
Yeah.
And their situation is way different than any Indians that do have treaty. Treaty Indians, they wouldn't have to negotiate about that pipeline. You know what I mean? Like it's theirs. They would just say the band could say what they wanted and the government would have to listen to them. But in BC, there's a lot of places where they don't have that. They were still trying to make a treaty, I think, up until some time ago. And then they were like, the government's not going to do it. So possibly they're using that as a bargaining tool. And they should. They should.
Yeah, why not? Like in all honesty, why not? It's like the Tsutsina in southwest Calgary there. The tribe that is constantly negotiating with Calgary for like infrastructure and support systems, and they negotiated a huge contract for the ring road in the south there, and Stony Trail or whatever.
Yeah,
so they
because it goes on their land.
Yeah, because it does cross their land, and part of that was access to Calgary's infrastructure, emergency services, police, water, sewage. And absolutely. Like,
Yeah.
we're going to take over some of your land for this road. You still own the land, but we're going to be using it for this thoroughfare that actually provides more access to your area. And in turn, we're going to provide you with the services like the police, fire, ambulance, water, sewage, electricity, things like that. I think that that's a good trade. But there was a very, very small group of people that were very upset about that road opening. But why? Because
there's probably something to do with that. I mean, if you do a little bit of digging.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I never heard that. I didn't pay enough attention.
Yeah, there's those back when I lived in Calgary, there was like the opening ceremony or whatever, and there was a tribe that showed up and blocked everything, and there was a lot of crying. Right? I'm like, I think this is something that you should have taken up with your elders in your tribe. If this is something you.
Oh yeah, but most of those bands are bought out. Like the leaders are bought out. They don't generally.
Yes.
Follow what's best for the rest of the people because they get bought out and they hold on to those positions in the families to keep them that way so that they stay in power and they're the corrupt ones in power. Not all bands are like that, but a lot of them are. And right now, that's what UNDRIP basically, they are trying to collect up as many bands as they can to get underneath them and for them to control. Because if they can do that, they will take over everything from us.
Well, yeah, that's what we were talking about before, right? It's the plebs, it's the underlings, it's the but
it specifically has to do with all this treaty land.
Did you want to do that water thing?
So
let's talk about the water.
Let's move from red flags about relationships. I think we've kind of talked that to death.
I'm good.
To now red flags about
government
messaging and
propaganda,
paranoia.
Acknowledging when you are being lied to, people. Let's work on it.
You're in a cult.
You want me to cake cult. You want me to play the video? Okay.
Very much economics for water, not just a global commission on water. Can you explain why that was an intention and what was the intention behind that?
Sure, and the review that will be coming out, which I'm sure Norman will get to, is going to be called the Review on Water as a Common Good. And that word, common good, is actually a radical word because in economics we have notions of the public good. It sounds good because the second word is good, but it's really framed more as a correction for something the private sector is not doing. And what water as a common good requires is an objective of what we can actually do together. And what's interesting is that when we have objectives, especially during urgent periods, think of what, we just lived through a health pandemic with all these COVID-19 recovery plans, not in all countries, but also war, where all of a sudden money literally comes out of the woodwork after we were told there was no money. Think of Germany, overnight 100 billion, and how it was calculated was that it would be seen as an investment, not a cost, so it didn't actually go into the deficit figures. This is all just kind of accounting and game playing with numbers. We don't do that for some reason with our wicked challenges or societal challenges. We tend to only do that mainly with military industrial complex kind of problems, but also as we saw with the health pandemic when millions of people are dying. So one of the issues is if water is as urgent of a problem as some of the top climate scientists like Johan have been telling us, by the way, for many years, we're just starting to listen now, how do we turn it, A, into an urgent problem? And the numbers are quite astounding. We might come back to some of the other numbers that you talked about this morning, which are quite shocking, but also an intersectoral problem. We shouldn't see water as a sector, but water as a common good means it has to be seen as cross-sectorally across many different kind of solutions across sectors as different as nutrition and construction, everything. But also in terms of coming back to the new economic thinking, it means seeing the role of government, which is so important. It's not the only actor, but it's a key actor, as a market co-creator and a market shaper in the system. So the policies themselves need to be framed in terms of shaping and not market immediate fixing, because that's just going to patch up the system. And central to that, and I know Tarman will talk more about it, it really is this kind of getting rid of this public-private divide. This is going to require huge amounts of collaboration, huge amounts of co-investment and finance, and how to actually design that with the common good lens is one of the really innovative things that this group is going to provide. And lastly, we shouldn't forget that even though urgent, periods make us kind of create money and do things that we weren't doing before, sometimes that speed can also create problems. Things can kind of pass by because someone just kind of presses on the speed of the speed pedal, and that's where we have to be careful, because issues of equity and justice are incredibly important. So one of the things that are going to be very, key is in terms of the voices that we're bringing to the commission, but also not using fluffy language like we're all in this together. Actually, there's going to be some real changes that will have to be made to business models, to the way governments work, to the way they relate one to another, and to the fact that so many voices haven't been at the table, even with climate, to be honest. We haven't brought many different voices to the table. So issues to make sure that this is an inclusive approach, is equitable, and has justice at the center is also part of the
50 liters per person per day.
Yeah.
But the
haven't brought many different voices to the table. So issues to make sure that this is an inclusive approach, is equitable, and has justice at the center is also part of the common good framing.
So you hear some language in that has been used previously in different concepts they've tried to bring forward to control things that never used to be controlled.
That Event 201 video, I don't know if you ever seen that, but the thing that Bill and Melinda Gates put on as a pandemic exercise right before we found out about COVID. World Economic Forum had their hands in that too, and everything she fucking said was said in one of those rehearsal videos. I guarantee it. Go back and watch it.
To go back even further, before 9/11 happened, the exercises that happened before 9/11 that matched exactly what happened.
What?
So, really? I never heard of that.
I'm going way back. So in the 1960s, I'll just gloss over. In the 1960s, there was a Cuban Missile Crisis, and they wanted to hype it up a little bit. So the plan was to have Cubans attack America, so that would rile up the Americans, so then they can invest in the military-industrial complex and go after Cuba. They never did it, but those documents stayed. Look into it. Yeah, I'm sure our audience knows all about it, but the exact scenario was played out during 9/11. And I've been crazy for a very long time. So just listening to now today in the city of Calgary, which is where most of us are from. But one of us has heard a lot about because she's friends with us. But ever since the early spring, we've been getting nothing but messaging about the upcoming water crisis and the drought that's coming. And like even in my little small area in my county, constant fear mongering about the lack of water. All of the towns, like tiny towns of 1,500 people, were being told to expect water restrictions, and the companies were having water diverted away from them. Farmers were being told that they were going to have to restrict water usage, that it was going to be a terrible planting season, blah, 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 because of the climate crisis. The concept of we're all in this together, we'll have to work together, it
was the same kind of messaging. It was. And I was paying attention because it's like, as a farmer, we did have 2 really bad droughts, but heading into March where I was, it wouldn't stop snowing. I couldn't get bales delivered because it was endlessly precipitating on me. And then I'm still hearing people, the drought. I'm like, I don't think we're in a drought anymore. And yet that it kept going, and get ready for water restrictions. It's all there. And then, it starts to rain. And then what do?
Nothing.
Well, here now, so now we're moving. we're moving into the water crisis that is actually happening
Yeah.
in Calgary, Alberta. Now, I don't know.
Loretta posted a really great article about the pipes that they used. What are they called? PCCP. So it's like they use concrete and these wires to reinforce it. And so it's supposed to hold up to really high pressure. But they started to go cheap on the wires at a point.
Yes.
I thought, oh, these will still be the same, but they weren't. So in this article, basically since around 1999, cities have had major blowouts, like huge, like in the one city, I can't remember which, they had to bring in helicopters to get people out of their cars in the downtown because there's water accumulating so quickly. So this is something Calgary has known. Sorry, my kitten's just playing with me here. And they totally should be able. Aaron's eyes are hypnotizing.
Ooh,
you're
they
getting
should have totally been able to predict that this would happen. 24 years of water disasters. And it's like, ooh, follow my eyes. Anyway, this was predictable.
Well, that's the thing. So the pipe that failed. So back up. Like Calgary was being told that there's going to be an incoming water crisis. The reservoirs that service the city are at the lowest they've ever been. That we were being told about the snowpack in the mountains. The snowpack is the lowest it's ever been ever, and climate change and incoming climate disaster and all of that wording and phrasing was all coming in. Now, these pipes were put in the ground. This one, the major failure, was put in the ground in 1974, like you were saying, when the city started to cheap out on the rebar that was a part of the construction of the concrete main pipe, right? And like you were saying, in the 90s, that was when they discovered that this type of metal that they were using, or it was the attachment, the ties, I think. It was a different type of metal. They cheaped out on it, and they were starting to fail. And like you were saying, Aaron, many municipalities that used this type of main infrastructure had failures starting in the 90s.
Yeah.
So Calgary has known about this since the 90s. Yeah. And I guess they were just riding the lightning until something happened.
Okay, here. This is, I'm going to just go wild with my conspiracy theories.
Okay, go.
Okay?
Go.
I feel like they were just negligent. They didn't replace it. It was going to cost billions of dollars. They didn't want to do the construction. They were worried about their ring roads, so they just went with that instead. Now, moving ahead, we need to make people conserve water. This is on our list of things to do. We all know Calgary's just as left as possible. They knew they had leakages, $5 says, because in that article, it talked about how they would start to seep and you would actually have groundwater seeping in. And so they easily probably knew this and tested it. I would guess. I mean, knowing that this could be a possibility. So then when, it's raining, we're filling up with water. We don't need to make everybody restrict it. Somebody, I don't know, but I did see this on the internet, that in Bowness, somebody had a plumber come out and say, why is our water pressure weird? So here we go. Maybe they pressured this up really high to break it on purpose.
Huh. I've seen, this is Calgary's Nord Stream 2, right? Like it was something that was inevitable and was going to happen. So it's easily dismissed as just an infrastructure failure, an accident. But see, and my conspiracy mind goes to why now?
Yeah, why now?
Why now? And why this messaging? And why are we using, like, I know that a good crisis, can't be wasted.
That's right.
And I know that a crisis and fear and suffering leads to people begging for government help and leading to government solution.
That sounds like codependency, another red flag.
A little red flag.
Yeah. No, but they wanted to restrict water. It was clear they wanted to do it.
They wanted to do it, and that previous
come up with a way to make people do it in Calgary.
Yeah, that previous video, that same lady, that was from the last WEF meeting in Davos, when they were talking about how COVID was a failure because of the rise of libertarian. Oh my God, my brain doesn't work. Libertarianism.
Yeah.
Libertarianism was one of the things that affected that devalued the effectiveness of the COVID fear mongering.
They blamed it on libertarians.
Yes, there's a speech, like Mr. Davos himself came out and talked about how the reason why it failed is because there is a subsect of society that has always existed that is all about freedoms. And
is among the most dishonest, corrupt, and
right
figures in Canadian public life. Yes.
Oh, I got lots to say about her, but I'll be nice.
She's horrible.
But he was talking about how the COVID narrative failed because we didn't get 100% buy-in, not just only of the population and these crazy freedom libertarian minded people, the ones that are like, you know what, world's falling apart, I'll be fine, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
It didn't affect them. But also more libertarian minded countries. So countries that just didn't lock down, they're like, you know what, we have good infrastructure, we have good people in place. We believe that our people are going to do the right thing.
Right.
Whether it's, distancing themselves, staying home to flatten the curve themselves on their own account, going to get, vaccinated if they want to by themselves. What was it, Sweden?
Yeah,
Sweden didn't lock down.
No.
They believed that their government believed that their people would do the right thing. They didn't lock down. They didn't force. They didn't implement any laws. I could be wrong. Correct me, but they ended up having the best outcome.
Yeah.
Because the virus just kind of ripped through who it was going to rip through and did virus things, and then everyone came out the end and it was fine. And they lost pretty much the same amount of people to this than every other country that hella lockdown, like Canada.
Yeah.
Right? Like the city of Toronto, like they were locked down for 2 years.
Oh my God.
Holy shit.
Quebec was insane on how hard they locked down. It was dystopian.
Which is weird because in my mind, you think of Quebec as they've always sort of fought for their rights, but really they're just the most left. They just care about what they care about, and they just don't care.
The French.
This is us. Yeah.
They're fucking French, which is hilarious because the French are all about Vive la Revolution.
Yeah.
Take that shit out.
That's the thing, like the Red River Conquest and the War of Upper and Lower Canada, and I dropped his name now out of my head, but like the battle for Quebec and the Métis and the French people, like Louis Riel, and those were the bloodiest wars, and he was hung for treason.
For treason, that's right.
For fighting so hard for their freedoms, and that's
the good old days.
From.
Yeah.
And then the government comes in and goes, yeah, so there's this virus coming around. We need you to not walk your dog after 8 p.m.
Yeah.
And they were like,
go fuck yourself.
They did it. Like, oh, je suis.
Yeah, they're like, all right.
Oh, that's all I could have said is go fuck yourself.
Like, I mean, I didn't, but I mean, I did at first, but most people.
We didn't do shit. The only thing that it really affected for me was not being able to go to the gym and go to the bar. Liquor stores were open, everything was still open. Like it really didn't do shit for me. The place that we worked, we didn't do. I mean, we had this stupid hand sanitizer or whatever, but we never wore masks. Not at any point in time did we wear masks. And not even when customers came in or anything like that, we didn't fucking make them put it on. Like they were actually relieved when they would come up from the cities and stuff and see that pretty much like nobody up here was doing that.
They're like, oh,
That's nice.
Like, oh my God, yes.
well, did you see
Sanity.
on the New York subways now, because what's happening in New York, they're actually thinking of banning COVID masks because it's making it hard to identify the criminals.
Well,
I'm
no
like,
shit.
weird.
When you went into a building, you didn't used to be able to wear masks.
Yes.
Like, I mean, for
That's
that
right.
reason, you're gonna go into the bank with a fucking mask on, like a full-on face mask, shield, fucking
Hoodie.
gloves, and a hoodie. You're
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh my God, whatever.
I know. I felt like everybody was a bank robber for the first 6 months. I was like, oh my God, are we allowed in here in our bank robber costumes? Oh yeah, we are.
No,
It was
it just made me think everybody was on meth.
Yeah.
Because
Oh, really?
So
well, yeah, they had the little masks and shit like that for, I don't know what they wore them for. Is it like a trend of some kind? They were conditioning with that too, because you notice on like Snapchat, I don't know if either of you had Snapchat, but prior to COVID, there was a lot of filters and shit with a mask.
oh yeah, there was
Yes,
the mask
different
on
color
there.
masks and stuff.
Weird.
Yeah, and like they did like Mortal Kombat mask and that, like whatever.
Did you download that one of Gondek talking?
Oh, the one where she's
Oh.
telling everybody to drink?
No.
Her propaganda daddy day stuff.
Oh, that was
What?
the worst. And the
Yeah.
way she speaks, she's just like, and you're gonna do this and do it like you mean it, Calgary. And it's like,
Yeah,
oh.
it's the narrative messaging again. And the whole, okay, guys, it's just 3 days to save the water. And okay, it's actually 5 days to save the water. And oops, 2 guys got hurt. So we need to have OSHA come in now and make sure that everything's safe. And that's going to shut down for another 3 days. And oh, we can't get pipe in because nobody's going to help us. So we're going to have to consult with some company in the US and San Diego, even though there's like pipe people here in Alberta, possibly.
Yeah.
Fantastic. But oh yeah, it's gonna only take them a week to get the pipe here from Sandy freaking Ago. And okay, just 2 more weeks. And now they're saying, oh
Two
well,
more weeks to flatten the curve.
it's gonna be 5 weeks, and you guys gotta pull together and shorten your showers and don't brush your teeth. And if you and then what happened
Drink beer instead of water, and don't put water in your whiskey. What kind of advice is this?
what
Don't
perked
put
me up-
water in your whiskey.
Yeah. What perked me up about this was the very foreboding warning that if you catch your neighbor watering their garden at 3 a.m. when they don't think someone's watching, report them.
If
I
you
missed that
see
one.
something, say something.
Yes. So
Getting everybody to be a snitching on each other.
It was on one of Gondek's speeches where she was talking about how we all have to come together and we all have to do this together and we just have to flatten the curve and blah blah blah, right? And then she started talking about don't try to sneak out at 3 o'clock in the morning to water your garden, because if anybody sees somebody doing that, report them. And she was talking about putting in hefty fines and limitations and potentially cutting off supply to people who are violating the water restrictions. And so it's that grip coming in and tightening. So what if I have a cistern in my backyard? I don't live in Calgary, thank God. What if I have a rainwater collection cistern in my backyard that's pressurized because it's elevated and I've done it correctly, and I'm doing shift work and I just happen to be off at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, oh, you know what? My carrots need a sprinkle. And I go out there with my collected rainwater and I'm watering my garden. What's going to happen to me?
Yeah.
Right? My neighbors can be like, why are your carrots so nice? And I'm like, because I planned ahead.
Yeah.
I collected all that snow melt and rainwater. So there's a lot of tell on your neighbor, report the dissenters messaging that's starting to come out. And that's what kind of pricked my ears up about it, because I don't live in Calgary anymore. I don't care. I do because my family's there, or a lot of my family and friends are there. But me personally, I water my garden. I have nice showers.
Yeah. No, and I felt like,
Mm.
and you pick the water restriction because you're exactly right. You can see if people are showering. You can tell if they're getting clean. So it's a social thing, just like the masks. You can look at your neighbor and be like, gee, it looks like you've washed your hair quite a few times this week, which is like, mind your own business how often I wash my hair. You know, but they want to instill that bossy, neighborly division.
Yeah.
And this is, they just pick ways.
Neighborhood watch.
Yeah, that see something, say something, right? To bring out the parents again, because that was highly effective during COVID, right? Like the people that were defiant and didn't want to wear a mask, they were being physically
really, and it's
attacked.
really obvious. It's really obvious. You just
And
have
it's
to
100% obvious, right? Or people that weren't social distancing or whatever, like it emboldened people to want to control, and it's
some of that stuff just killed me.
Yes.
Like, especially when I would walk into the hospital, like if there's a doctor's appointment or something like that. Like, they actually had a cop come in because I refused to put my mask on, and the cop wasn't even wearing one. The cop wasn't even fucking wearing one. And I told the lady, I'm like, if you're refusing me service because I'm not wearing a mask, why don't you go talk to the police officer over there who is not wearing a mask, and then tell me I can't wear mine or can't not wear mine.
Yeah, it's just mark our words. It's happening, and like you look at places like Calgary that are run by somebody who was not elected; they were selected.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying, and that's my opinion. It's not fact. But then you look at the city of Edmonton, and you remember when 15-minute cities were a right-wing tinfoil hat conspiracy theory?
Yeah.
They're celebrating that right now. Like they're actually talking about how it's a good thing, and that then we're doing it. After dismissing people who are saying we don't want a 15-minute city for a year now. It's like, oh, they're just crazy. They're just conspiracy theorists. They're just tinfoil hat losers.
Shit is retarded.
And now the news is actually celebrating the fact that they're becoming a 15-minute city, and this is for the greater good, and it's best for all people, and it's equitable and inclusive, and it's going to save the planet from literally burning and all that stuff.
Equity and inclusion. They had to get rid of equality. It's equity, inclusion, and justice.
Yeah.
It's like,
and we want to
are
make
you
sure
fucking
justice,
kidding me?
Yeah.
Well,
how do you make sure justice is at the basis of your water? How do you do that? It didn't make
you
any
got to
sense.
make sure everybody gets water.
Well, did you know that water droughts affect the people of color more than it does white people, right?
Oh yeah, disproportionately affects them.
But what about Trudeau's promise to all the reserves that they'd all have clean water? He never did that. That was 8 years of not
shit. They still don't have that on the reservations here.
Wasn't that a part of his campaign in 2015?
Absolutely. He totally ran on it. He promised he would have all reservations have clean water. Then about 4 years into it, he's like, we're slow on this, so we're just going to pay people. So they started to pay people who had to be on reserves without clean water. I'm sorry, that still isn't providing children with clean water.
What the fuck?
Yeah, what the fuck is that? What, paying them because they're living without clean water doesn't help you drink or shower at all. So there is no justice, inclusivity, or anything in this country for water. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Because he could have done this by now. What has he been doing for 8 years? Like, how hard is it to build a couple of water treatment plants? Seriously.
They have other shit on their minds. He had a whole fucking lot of cocaine up his nose.
Drink beer.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's the only thing he cared about.
Really like, and call it survival of the fittest. Skip washing the car.
Oh, did you find it?
I did. Okay.
You want to play that?
Yeah.
I'm just loading it up here. If it'll load up.
Yeah. No, I can't believe the level of manipulation they're using with this water shortage, because in that article Loretta posted, I mean, I feel like it was the place where it was in the States where they had to get helicopters out to get people out of their cars. They were fixed in a week. They fixed it in a week.
Where was that?
Oh, it was somewhere in the States. There was two major examples in that article Loretta posted. And in both cases, they were quickly repaired. And then they spent millions and billions of dollars going around and repairing all the rest of, like, because Calgary's going to have to do that now. They're going to have to find every place that's leaking and fix it.
Well, see, that's the problem with crumbling infrastructure, right?
Yeah.
Like once you have a major failure and you repair that major failure and you repressurize the system, then any next weak point is going to.
Yes, that's right. You're right, because it's been leaking from that point, but then as it heads through at high pressure, it's going to bust out anything else that's going.
Yeah. And that entire line that was put in the 1970s that was built with that, like you said, that
I think it was
process. Yeah,
pipe.
PCP pipe. Yeah, like it was this new awesome system, and the rebar. There was rebar failure, like it corroded or something with the ties between the rebar.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so it was substandard product.
Yeah.
And so now as that goes along, as we replace things with superior products, the rest of it's going to fail.
Yeah.
And so Calgary's in for a world of hurt. Like you were saying, when Nenshi got elected, he was a very progressive left-wing mayor. And he got elected because of his social media campaign appealing to the youth. And this is like how many years ago? 15 years ago?
Quite a long time ago, right?
It was a very long time ago, yeah. And so his campaign was all about inclusion. Well, that was back when it was not equity, but equality. Equality and inclusion and
equality is a fucking social construct. There is nothing that is equal about anything. Men are not equal to women. Women are not equal to men.
Yeah.
There are certain things they can do that we can't. There is no equal outcome for anything. I don't care what color you are, your sex, who you decide to fuck. There is no equality. It will never happen. It does not happen in the natural world amongst animals and things like that. It will not happen with human beings. People can get fucked with their equality.
There is forced equality.
Yeah, that's communism.
Yeah, I was going to say, they tried it in China under Mao. Worked out real good. They tried it in Venezuela, Cuba.
Yeah, it was scary.
They tried it. It worked out real well. You know what? The one thing that communism is really good for is killing communists.
Yeah.
Sad and fucked up.
That was sick. I'm a terrible, terrible person. Okay, I've got Gondak loaded up here. Speaking of terrible,
you need Jesus.
She's a communist. So
Darwin,
bad.
2 birds, 1 stone. Drink beer instead of water. Only water the plants that you really like and call it survival of the fittest. Skip washing the car. Little dirt adds character. Imagine you're on a game show and the prize is lower water bills. Put a sealed glass jar in your toilet tank to save water when you flush. And just the barest whisper of water in one's whiskey. And my dad's advice to me throughout my life. Do it like you mean it. So Calgary and surrounding area, I'm asking you to save water like you mean it because it matters. It matters a lot. And I can see that you are doing your best to help us all get through this situation, and it is greatly appreciated. With that, happy Father's Day, everyone, and we will see you at 2 p.m.
She was serious. That was a real person. I thought that was a fucking comedy skit.
No,
she doesn't even look like a real person.
That is Jody Gondak, Calgary's mayor.
Wow.
Yes, and the craziest thing about Jody Gondak was she came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Nowhere. The person that was constantly polling to win was Jeremy Farkas. He was one of the council members that like everyone in Calgary loved, because he was one of the ones that stood up to Nenshi when Mayor Nenshi wanted to make council meetings private and take them offline. And Farkas and I think another couple, a couple of council members, they stood up and said, no, everything that we're saying should be said in public, and it should be said in front of Calgarians. And people rallied behind him. And then when election time came up, he decided, and he threw his hat in the ring. And he had a ton of backing. He was polling up until the day of the election.
Really?
Yes. He was polling as the clear winner, even with the margin of error. And then all of a sudden on election day, well, the craziest part was I did vote in that because I do still believe in voting because I'm stupid. But on the day when I went to go in to vote, I noticed that the ballots looked really interesting, and the way that they were doing the polling station was very strange. And then when I finished, I'd collected my ballots and I'd gone off and done the thing, and I stood in the 4 different lines you have to stand in. And I walked up to the machine, and guess what kind of machine it was that I fed
Dominion.
my vote. Yep.
So have you seen this stuff about them getting like shits released about how many Trump votes they deleted or changed?
I've seen a lot about Dominion, and Dominion is a Canadian company. And there was a lot of people talking about that.
It's your guys' fault.
Yes, sorry. But
blame you.
There's a lot of people talking about why didn't we do the election, because it was not announced that it was going to be like an electronic election.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be a paper hand count, but somewhere in the background it was adjusted, and out of the blue, like she did start polling fairly well because there was a huge influx of money, and there was a huge advertising push, and then all of a sudden her signage started popping up about a week before the election.
Who owns Dominion?
I think it's a Quebec company. Chat, if you know.
Is it real Canadians or is it
new Canadians?
Chinadins?
I don't know.
Chinadins or maybe Israelis?
No, I know. I know it's heavily.
It's Soros funded, isn't it?
Well, it's heavily funded by not only our government, because it's a Canadian company and we want to support Canadian business with our government dollars.
Dominion deleted 2.7 million Trump votes nationwide. Data analysis finds 221,000 Pennsylvania votes switched from President Trump to Biden. 941,000 Trump votes deleted. States using Dominion voting system switched 435,000 votes from Trump to Biden. These are different. Yeah.
Where's that from? What's your source?
I don't know. Josh Dunlap.
Wow.
Okay.
He's verified. He's verified on Twitter.
Oh.
He's got a video of the Michigan GOP chair giving updates on elections, because I think Michigan was a part of the election fraud and stuff like that.
Yeah. So the unions, like Miss Tinker L here says the unions definitely did have a lot to do with Gondek being elected.
Fuck unions.
Yeah. I don't know.
She was an absolute nightmare in COVID.
In my personal life, I don't know anybody in my personal life. Not that I know a lot of people, but anecdotal evidence, I don't know anybody who voted for her. I know people who voted for Farkas. I don't know anybody who voted for Gondek personally. And people were shocked. Like Farkas actually took a year off, and like he did this hike or something for Boys and Girls Club. Like he was devastated. And I felt so bad for the guy. he put in a lot of his own money and was devastated. And he went and did this hike down to South America and raised a ton of money for Boys and Girls Club. And he got back like a year later. And it was really interesting what he did after the election. But on her first day in office, the first thing that she does is claims a climate emergency and pledges $500 million for Calgary, the city of Calgary, to help fight the climate emergency.
What?
Yes, on her first day of office. And that was when I was like, oh, kill.
Oh, she's a plant.
So how about if she had taken that $500 million on her first day and said, hey, you know what? Calgary's infrastructure is crumbling. We've got these pipes in Bowness. Maybe we should start looking into shoring that up, and let's look into the electrical grid that's failing, and let's look into some other things in Calgary. Let's look into the roads, the actual infrastructure that makes Calgarians' lives better. Let's take that $500 million and let's put that into that. And then not a week before she, before this failure happened, I can't remember how much money, $400,000 she used to rename, like, because Calgary and Edmonton, I think Canadian cities, they all have like their little catchphrase for their name,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like Frontier City or whatever.
Yeah.
We got them too all over.
Edmonton was City of Champions forever, which was hilarious. And then they renamed Calgary. Like, they spent all this money to redo this sign and to rename the city and relaunch it. What are they called now? Like Big Sky Country or something, or Big Sky, or
that's Montana.
I know. I'm like, that's Montana. Montana's Big Sky Country. It says it on their license plates.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Minnesota is the land of 10,000 lakes.
Yeah.
We got fucking
I thought
sunshine
Calgary was
state.
always the home of the Stampede.
Well,
Is that what it used to say underneath their signs?
It used to be, well, it was home of the Olympics for the longest time.
Okay.
And then it was, I can't remember what else it was. And it was renamed to Feel the Energy, like, welcome to Calgary, feel the energy. It was so dumb. And then now it's like, we have a nice sky. And it was all, she spent all this money to rename, instead of going into the infrastructure and actually addressing things that have been, like you were saying, Aaron, on alert.
Yeah.
Forever.
Oh, that's like Minnesota's fucking 17.9 million or some shit like that we had for the state, and then it all went to random fucking stupid shit that doesn't help anything, that has pretty much made things worse. I feel they're trying to put more money into the light rail. It's like, why? Nobody wants to ride the light rail. Have you seen the murder rates? Have you seen the shot? Like, people sitting there doing drugs on the fucking train and like fucking beating off and like sexually attacking women, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, no. Why are you going to put more money into something when it's not working? But that's obviously not where all the money's going.
Yeah.
I wonder, I would like whoever wants to look into it, what is the connection between Gondek and this company that is shipping these pipes up from San Diego?
Yeah.
What is the connection? Why did we have to go to San Diego for these pipes when in Canada we have perfectly good pipe manufacturing places that offered, when this happened,
yes,
had the physical capability, available materials, and infrastructure to create the exact pipes that were needed? Like, oil and gas companies don't just ship oil, they also move water. So we can't have the oil and gas industry help us because we can't make them look good at all, because they're mean and bad and dirty.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I heard she refused pipes from Nisku, which is like right, like 2 hours away or something, right? Like,
how are your guys' gas prices up there?
Why would you do that
right
now?
They're high. Like, have they come down at all? Because gas, I think in the last week has probably dropped 20 cents.
Oh, really?
I think collectively. Yeah. And then we have, I don't know, that 88 gas, that E88 or whatever, that's like at $3 a gallon right now. You guys pay per liter though.
We pay per liter, yeah. So where I am, it's around $1.50 a liter. So what is that? Times 4?
Is that bad?
Yeah.
It's really bad.
Yeah, how many liters are in a gallon? Quite a lot, right?
Yeah, I think it's 4.
4 liters.
Chat, you guys are good at math. We got some men in the chat. Oh yeah, like here, Sohi in Edmonton. Not a single person I know voted for him, including all the brown people. In fact, brown folks hate him. And that's the same. That's the same with Zendek. Like she's a brown person. One of my American friends was like, "Oh my God, that's like a brown, skinny Hillary Clinton." I'm like, kinda.
Yeah. Oh man.
But I don't think she got the power that Hillary Clinton does, but she sure has the haircut.
And the attitude.
Yeah.
I hate her attitude.
He doesn't do the cackle as well, though. That wicked cackle, that evil laugh.
Yeah.
That powerful women have. It's like when you sell your soul, you get a cackle.
I don't know.
Like Kamala Harris. When Kamala Harris laughs at the most stupid things.
Oh, she's so retarded. I don't know how she became fucking vice president. It makes no sense to me.
Do you really not know how?
Where
she
the?
vice
Yeah,
president?
I do.
It's the same way she became governor. We all know.
Pulled a Monica.
She spent a lot of time on her knees, let's say.
Oh my gosh. That's
we're so
horrible.
bad. We're so mean. Stop it.
Oh, yeah, she is.
She's another multi-culty one who married somebody from the Jewish persuasion.
Oh.
Yeah, she is.
I'm trying to remember who's the NDP, the former NDP leader. I can see her annoying face. The blonde.
Oh.
How can I forget her
Rachel
name?
Notley.
Rachel Notley. Rachel Notley and Jody Gondak are like, I bet they hang out and drink together and just like.
Oh, like the squad here. We got Ilhan Omar and fucking
laugh about them like they're witches. Like I can picture that.
Oh, AOC. What the? I don't know
AOC?
what her name is.
Yeah.
Her and Ilhan Omar and their little crew. That's who they are. And I don't even know that they're on the same side anymore because I'm pretty sure that one's all anti-Jew and the other one's married to a ginger Jew.
Yeah, the squad when October 7th kicked off, the squad got irreparably damaged and their friendships were ended. Very sad day.
They need to get that woman out of here. That's all I know.
Which one?
AOC?
Well, both of them. How the fuck do you become a politician from being a brain dead bartender?
And she is not smart.
Sorry. Yeah, it's a. I wish that like my miracle whatever, like my make a miracle wish if I was ever dying of like a terminal disease, it's just to sit in one of those rooms with these people and just listen. Like I'm not going to do anything about it. I'm dying.
Be a fly on the wall.
But just to know, like to be in that room where these things are being talked about. And my husband and I had a conversation. We were watching some medieval show, right? Because he's into like knights and Vikings and stuff. And it had this council of like the kings and the lords and like all of the elites of the time sitting in this room all around a table discussing how they were going to manage things, right? And they were like backstabbing each other and like talking about how they were going to kill so many people over here and it's for the greater good. And so they were doing these deals, right? And I'm sitting there and I looked at him, I'm like, that still happens now. It's just instead of in front of a stone table in a drafty castle with people wearing crowns, it's just people wearing Gucci at a walnut table. in a beautiful, air-conditioned conference room. The same conversations are happening with the same kinds of people. They're in the same positions of power. Nothing's changed. And we're still the plebs. We've always been the plebs.
Yeah.
Right? I don't mind being a pleb. Like, I live a good life.
Speaking of all of this conversation we got going on here, maybe should we play our little
Disclaimer, everything discussed in this stream is alleged. Everything is based on our opinions. Please do your own research.
Yes, I never claimed to be smart, and I never claimed to know anything.
I know nothing. I just repeat what I hear.
Yeah.
And my opinion on it, which my opinion doesn't come for much, but I enjoy it.
Interesting.
I love speculating. I don't care if I'm wrong.
That's probably true. That's probably true. Do you ever see the casting calls for crisis actors?
Oh, yeah. They happen all the time.
That's fucking ridiculous. Oh, yeah. Yeah, sure. For a certain situation, it'll be like, we need people for such and such thing that's going to happen here or whatever. And it's like,
they do them legitimately, like for firefighter training, or I know in the mines they do crisis in the mines, so they have people that act that they're dressed up as miners, and their card says, oh, you have a head injury and you've lost your leg, so they'll cover them with ketchup or whatever, and they have to pretend that they've been harmed. So when the trainees come in, they use their training to address the situation. Right. So those are crisis actors. So they're really, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Where it's something that needs to be
portrayed or set
up.
Or,
I don't know, a bunch of people at a rally pretending to be skinheads to rile up a crew of people to cause problems.
Yeah.
Or I don't know.
Schmaltz schmag something.
Yeah. Yeah. Or, our good old insurrection. I don't believe that they're there were definitely actors there.
Yeah. Yeah, I do catch these every now and again. Not a regular watcher, but.
Do you watch American what? What'd they say?
America's
True Story, Untold Stories.
Untold Stories.
Oh, yeah.
Robert Barnes. Yeah. I like Robert Barnes. I think he's intelligent. I think he's got, good takes on things. I don't agree with everything he says, but I don't agree with anybody 100%. But oh yeah, paid protesters.
Yeah. That's so fucking stupid to me, because why are you being paid to protest? Or why?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? People used to do that for free.
That's when people believed in a cause.
Yeah.
And they would make their signs and they would go out and be like, we want pansies on Main Street. We want pansies on Main Street. Get rid of the petunias. Boo,
yeah.
Something that people really believed in, and they would enact a change. And
yes,
it was good.
Yes,
now it's just like everything else that's happened in society. Is everything's become a business, and it's become
yes. You know what? We just had this going on in our town where they want to lower the speed limit to 40, and everybody on Facebook was like, "Why?" And then you've got this one lady that's like, good, because it's unsafe here. And there's about 4 of them. Oh, good, because it's unsafe here. Was there a fatality? Was there even an accident in town because somebody was driving 50? First of all, most people don't hit 50 because it's there's one stretch of road where you're going to make it to 50, maybe 2. Okay. And the rest of it, I don't think anybody's going 50. But I had an argument because I was like, this isn't how it works. The council's not supposed to decide they want to slow everybody down and then see if there's enough people in favor of it. No, that's not how this works. You're not supposed to then gauge your popularity of your decision. It should be a people driven thing where it's like, we want the speed limit to be lowered because of this, and this.
Yeah.
You know, we haven't been able to solve it in other ways, so this is what we want. That's not how democracy works anymore, is it? It's the government telling you, we're going to make these rules, and then, well, we'll see if they fight about it enough.
Yeah, well, we're gonna propose this thing because we think it's good because we're up here and we know better.
Yeah,
Right.
You know, we're gonna tell those people, you know, this is for your safety.
Exactly. It's always about
that's how power works, right?
Oh yeah. Even in small towns, like
big time.
And then
the
you
town
like
right next to me, Taconite, they police their own town. I mean, we got cops that drive in there occasionally, but I mean, they police their own town. You go into Taconite acting like an ass, you'll be banned from town. I've been kicked out a couple of times. They couldn't kick me out when I lived there, but like seriously, do it. It's hilarious.
That's right. It shouldn't be that complicated.
But it should be that way anyway. You know, your own little town, and you do what you need to do in it, like it used to be.
Well, and again, there's no need for this. There was no accident. No one's been hurt. I get why. Why are you bringing this up? Of course, it's probably because they hired, and I didn't make it to the meeting because I had 2 kids in tow, and I was like, oh, I'm going to be 30 minutes late. I wanted to go to the meeting and see what their reasoning was for why they decided to do this.
Right.
Because why?
So
there should be a good reason, or don't do it.
There's a white pill about the whole Gondik thing. So that video that was pulled from Twitter/X, which was from her official account, she posted that on Father's Day. The comment section underneath that, it renewed my faith in humanity. Now I know algorithms are manipulated and it's only going to show me what I want to see, but the amount of people in there going, what's happening? And like, I'm not talking about like this scathing, like, you awful commie, like, not the heavily politically or clickbait, ragey, motivated comments, but just the normal, like, what is this? This is weird. Like this doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
And a lot of the awakening of just normal people going, like, stop giving us, like, stop making cutesy videos, like stop making markety type videos. About this.
Yeah. Like,
and you're the mayor, give us the facts, right? Like, it's our reservoirs at 50%. We need Canadians or Calgarians to reduce by 25%. You've been doing a great job. There was an uptick, whatever, right? Just give us the numbers, give us the hard facts. Let us adjust our lives around it because we know that this is a real thing and it's really freaking happening. Right. We don't want the taps to run dry, and we don't want our emergency services to be without water if it is needed. People are decent in general, right? But
it's like, but nobody likes to be threatened, and there's like a threatening undertone, you know, and it's and it's coming, you know, and maybe because there was enough people that went along with COVID, but could still hear that threatening undertone, and they're like, oh, good, that's gone. Now it's back. So hopefully, and that was the one thing about COVID that they failed at, is that they woke up so many people.
Yep.
And they can never.
I feel like they tried to do it on such a large scale this time. I mean, literally around the entire fucking world, they tried to attempt to do this, and it was just too much.
Yeah, they took too big of a bite out of their plan.
Yeah,
and people woke up to it. So it's like, it's that same threatening undertone in this message. It doesn't matter what they're telling you to do or what the emergency is. It's
you listen to us.
Don't do
Stay
that.
safe. Stay together.
Yeah. And you're right. It's not facts. It's not. It's like they're just gonna drag this out and threaten us for as long as they can with water. Oh, great. You know.
No, I truly, like, I believe that that's the difference between male and female leadership, right? I hate to say it, like, as a female. it's
like
that,
she's focusing on the emotions
it's
of it.
like pander to the emotion, whether
Yeah.
it's the threatening, like going for the fear, or pandering to the, if you do this, you're in the good group of people and you really care about people and look at how awesome you are. And if you see someone else doing the naughty, you let people know that the naughty's happening and we'll take care of them. That kind of female energy does
They
not
want
bode
you to
well
be a
for-
yes man for their cause, a
Right?
yes man or a yes woman.
That's not to say all women are like that, and that's not to
Yeah.
say all men are very logical and like, here's the facts. And I do believe you do need a blend of the two, but you also need to utilize, depending on the situation, right? Like, we're going to war.
Yeah.
We need a little bit of emotion, but mostly facts and drive forward. And this is what's happening. But yeah, or like if it's a Mother's Day announcement, it could be all emotion and super good and super happy, right? But something like a major infrastructure failure that's going to deplete the water supply of a major city that's already struggling under infrastructure strain because of the mass influx of immigration. Maybe not a time to talk cutesy about what your dad taught you about water conservation.
Or tell everybody to drink. That was
Yeah,
shocking to me.
drink
beer
beer
instead
instead of water. Are you fucking retarded?
How tone deaf is that, right?
Yeah.
Drink alcohol, dehydrate yourself.
And then don't have any water the next day. Fuck you. You're gonna have to just keep drinking.
Like, I drink water all day while I'm working, so I get
Yeah.
thirsty. And I'm just like, okay, so I'm supposed to have beers while I'm working, like.
As I wanted to see everyone in Calgary shit-faced drunk
at
for,
work
like, the next 4 days after that, and then her have to go on and be like, okay, let's not all just drink beer and whiskey.
Well, do you
That
remember the
was my
first
bad.
like 2 weeks of lockdowns? The joke that was going around that everyone was just drunk for 2 weeks.
Oh yeah.
And you'd like look at the recycling centers and stuff. You're just like, holy shit, everyone was drunk for 2 weeks.
Really? Were they?
Yeah.
It was
fuck
bad.
yeah.
Well, I mean, it's in the beginning, it was like, oh, cool, a little vacation. I don't have to worry about anything. Okay, I'll stay home and stay safe.
Yeah.
And I'll make the, the little people deliver me my things because I'm the laptop class. I'll be drunk all day, right? Yeah. But then you drink beer instead of water. I'm like,
I gotta cut up this lasagna for children.
anyway,
They're like
we've gone on
pointing and
for 15 minutes, 17 minutes longer than we usually do. So
I'm today. I don't have the constant talking and sign language going at me where I was just like, last 2 streams, I'll be right in the middle of something and I get the kids just harassing me about something. Actually, one of them, she came up, she cut her knee, and I thought I told them to go down and play with the kittens. I was like, go down and play with the kittens. So I thought it was a kitten scratch. No, she got out on her bike, and I'm ignoring this. I'm like, go away, go get a Band-Aid. It's just a kitten scratch.
Oh no.
Oh no, mama.
It was fine, but still, I didn't care at all because I thought she was playing with kittens.
Yeah. So all I can say is question everything.
Yes.
Everything you see online.
Question everything.
If something doesn't feel right, if something's not hitting you right, if something kind of twinges a memory from a trauma that you've recently experienced, take a second look at it.
Yeah.
For sure.
And pay attention to those red flags in your relationships and in your government.
Yes.
And that's how the show comes together.
And that's how, see how I did that? I wrapped it all up.
Beautiful. Very good.
Anyhow, everyone stay safe.
Yes.
Stay hydrated.
Drink some beer and not
Yeah, just drink beer.
I'm just drinking water.
and
No.
whiskey without much water. And Jody Gondak style.
No, you gotta put ice in it. That's your water. That's
Well,
the
there
only
was-
water you get.
I used my electric fridge to make some ice. And I had ice that's melt because we've been gabbing for so long. Anyway,
Yes.
love you guys.
Love you.
Love you
Yeah,
too.
Thank you for another great stream, and thank you, chat, for showing up. and being interactive and setting us straight when we need setting straight. Margoot's good at that.
Yeah. Sorry I was late.
Yeah.
All good.
Trying to hurry along the kids, and they
Better
were
late than not here at all, Rocky.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
bitch.
She's missing in action.
Uh-huh.
I'm talking because I'm trying to set up the end of the street.
Oh. Okay, I gotta.
Okay.
I'm going.
We're
See
done.
ya.
Thank you so much. Sorry about the Wednesday. See you next Tuesday.
Yeah. See you next Tuesday.
Mwah.
But when that light hits the sky, it's not just a call. It's a warning to them. Fear is a tool. They think I'm hiding in the shadows, but I am the shadows.